always so fun. This was from December 12th. We had a couple new band members. Got Paul the drummer back, and I'll give a shout out to all these guys. Plus, I put their links for their Instagram in the description, so if you want to follow along with them, go ahead and do that. This is my studio here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. Actually, it's 32 degrees here, so sorry. It's a little bit colder than I like it to be, but it's still nice. Went to Waffle House this morning with Augie. Welcome into the live stream, and basically, I'm going to show you guys a few of these things. We're going to go straight into listening to. We're going to go listen to our service from this week, streamed, mixed by Emily, and I was on front of house this week. Then we're going to go into the Logic session and start listening to some of the stuff. So this will be like a dual video, and also we'll remind you that this weekend I'm doing a live webinar Friday night, 9 p.m., Saturday morning, 9 a.m., so you can watch me do more of this and actually ask your questions live. So we're going to dive into some of the things that we're doing, and along with that, you can get downloads to my mix templates that I'm using at our church at Spring Hill. Follow us on Instagram and on all the links in the description. Let's get right into this. We're going to listen to this and see what we think about it. You can leave your comments here. It looks like some D-Live team has left their comment here. Go ahead and leave your comment. Let's listen to this and see what happens. Now, this was our live stream mix that went straight out to Facebook. So this is I grabbed our Facebook video. Man, I will tell you what, this is I'm actually super happy with this. My wife kills it on the live stream mix. I'm not kidding you. She's killing it on the live stream mix. She can mix, she can hear, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to build the team right now with even more people who can actually really hear and mix. This is from our booth. I'm going to turn this up. Here we go. Okay, there you go. All right, so I'm even mixing right now. She's got a great ear, and this was a really good. I'm glad I started the video off with this segment. This sounded so good. We had some good musicians this week, some new musicians forming in the band. Paul came back on drums, and the drums. I've got a lot I can say, so maybe I'll reserve all my really big tweaking for my next segment of this video, which is going to jump into the Logic stream. But yeah, this is extremely good. You can see that our live stream kind of jumps back and forth. Sometimes it catches up, so sometimes the lips are out of sync and in sync. Everything I've figured out, I'm having a hard time with that. That's probably one of the hardest things. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. Just the band production, the guitar tones, the drum, the snare sounds really good this week. I'll get into some of that little deeper. But just extremely, yeah, let's listen some more. I want to listen to that segment again. Listen to the drums, to the vocals are mixed nice. The backups, Robbie's backup vocals were killing it right in there, and Emily's the same way. They kind of fit right in. So man, yeah, that was good. Holy Spirit, conceiving Christ the Son, Jesus our Savior. Sing this out. This week we put a new bass drum mic on the bass drum. It was this week or last week, but it's the 602 Sennheiser. I don't know. I'm listening to this mix today, and I'm like, this is about as perfect. Like, I wish I did this. This is Emily's mix. I did set the mix up for her. So, I mean, technically, this is right on. This is I don't know. I'm gonna dive deep. I'm gonna dive deeper in. So, extremely nice round. We got some good reverb. I'm gonna show you how to do this, guys. Listen. If you want to know about doing this more, I'm going to show you that you can go straight over to the website, and I've provided some just extremely good tools for you. Now that's my Logic template that we're going to go over, but I've given some really, really good tools for you guys. If I can find them here, I believe I have to open up the internet. Yeah, there it is. If you go to downloads, you can actually download my mix template, okay, that I use. This is the template that we use this week. And with some of the audio, so you can actually practice mixing with our band. Okay, so that's one thing. And then you can actually come to the webinar where I'm going to dive deeper in, and you can get my gear list. And this is the thing. And then if you're trying to set this up and get a better mix, you can get my diagram set up. So these actually show you where I'm plugging stuff in, which matters. And so Peter Wantel over here, I think you're on Twitch. Yeah, send me. So if you want to send tracks to me, you can go ahead and send your tracks to me. I guess you should send me a link, or just put a link in this thing, or you can send me a link to eric@worshiptheking.com. I'd be happy to do this, and I'd even do it on live if you'd like me to listen to your tracks. But all of this is happening out of Logic, so we're mixing, and you can see if you looked at our studio diagram for the Spring Hill diagram. I actually have the Spring Hill diagram on here. If you look at OBS, Small Church Livestream Setup, this is actually the setup we're using. So if you look into this, you can look into this. So Peter, I've got your SoundCloud link, and I will go live in the next hour. I will listen to your stuff, and I will do a mix critique for you. Absolutely will do that. Let me switch over to this. It's probably going to be playing this thing right here. I'm going to turn this off. Intro. All right. So yeah, I will do that. I'd love to listen to your stuff. But basically, you can see what we're doing, and then when we get into Logic here in a minute, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm doing for this week, what she was doing, and what I set up for her to do. We'll listen to the drums and everything else. So let's go back to this, and let's find a different song. They did a couple different songs. Let's see. This is the opening song. Let's see what this one is. Okay, that was the end of the song. Let's get back to the big. This is a good sounding song too. Really good. I'm loving hearing the drums and everything else. Paul killed it this week. Now, I'm going to tell you something about how I'm mixing this. We are mixing in our room. It's extremely hard. We're mixing in headphones in our live room. Now, we won't be doing that in January. By January, we're going to actually move our whole mix team out into another room. Right now, we can't really hear once the band starts playing, it's extremely hard to hear the mix between the bass and the drums, okay? Extremely hard. So what we do is we mix up in front, like during rehearsal, we'll record some stuff, then we'll listen between service, and we'll kind of get the bass and the drums and sort of the foundation of the mix set. And then once the service starts, we're not messing with the bass and the drums a whole lot. Okay, so that's a key to getting a good mix, and that's what I'm going to talk about in my webinars this weekend, is mixing from the bottom up, because you always mix, or I always mix from the bottom up anyway. I always start with the drums, and then I'm going to put the vocals and the bass drums, bass guitar in there, and then I'm going to mix it up so that the mix is solid. A lot of people, even in this mix, I noticed that song, the acoustic guitars were a little bit too slappy. They were a little bit too forward, and so that's just a little adjustment. But you got to understand, when I'm listening to this, I'm listening to a live mix. Whatever happens, happens. It isn't like I get to come back to the studio and I get to go, oh, that acoustic was a little too loud or whatever. This is a live performance, even though we're listening to it back together and critiquing it or listening to it really critically and thinking, oh, well, I could have brought the acoustic down here. But you're in the moment. You're mixing live. What happens, happens. If a vocal cue is missed, if a vocal comes in and it's too loud, that is something that your ear hears immediately, and then you have to make an adjustment, but it's already done. In other words, it's already onto the internet. So let's listen to the front song. We had a really good front song here. I think this was, I feel like they opened up with a Christmas song. I don't understand. Yeah, unless what happened is we actually missed that front. We missed the front song on the recording. So I'm gonna go over here. Just give me a second. I'll go over on Facebook and I'll pull up our Facebook video, because I want to show you guys the front song. It's kind of a cool song. It was a Christmas song. Hey, from India. Welcome from India. Let's see if I can get on the internet and not drop frames here. Church of Spring Hill. Let's see if we can play this. I don't really think this will be great. I could probably just pull it up in the live mix. But we did a Christmas song, and it looks like maybe our live stream did not record the full service because I have the recording. So let's go into the live stream mix here, just into Facebook. All right, into Facebook. I will go down here and try to find our videos. This is our 10:30 service, and actually we'll bump in here, about here.
The virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Let's worship him this morning.
Oh yeah, here it goes. This is you. This is for you, Tommy. So she's just getting the mix going. She's getting it started.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on.
All right, so this is an example of a slightly dry vocal. And so when I was mixing this, I did not put enough reverb on Emily's mic here. This is an example. It's slightly dry for my taste. Now, still sounds good. Still, some people won't say anything about it, but I'm going to add some more reverb when I go into the Logic mix in a moment.
Or silent flocks by night. Behold, throughout the heavens, there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born down in a lonely.
Now, you see what happened is in this mix, this specific live mix, and we're going to go into Logic. This will be a good time to pop over there soon. I will show you when you add a little bit more verb on her vocal, it puts it back into the mix. Right now, it sounds like it's sitting on top of the mix, a little bit too far for my taste, but it goes on the mix a little bit too, and it's a little bit like, oh, it's out there. So we want to put it back in. Some people like their vocals way up top. All right, so you see that when you hear that, you hear that the snare, when he's really smacking the snare and the vocals are they're right together, which is right. So this vocal is not that far out in the mix, but if it had just a tight slab bit of reverb on it, I would like how it would sit in the mix better. So I'll show you that when I get in there. Now they did a really cool version here before the sermon of Rejoice. I want to listen to that.
Shall come to thee, O Israel. Oh, come, desire of nations bind in one the hearts of all.
Now this version is Tommy back there on the electric, and he's doing some really, really cool stuff, which I'll dissect that more in Logic session. But it's a little bit buried for my taste, but it is definitely there. And the thing with Tommy's tones this week is he's got some really, you'll hear him in the Logic mix. Some of them are very ethereal, very dynamic. In other words, sometimes they're coming out, sometimes they're blending in. So to mix those, it's extremely hard on the fly to mix those in. But you'll hear what I'm talking about when we go in the Logic mix. It does a great job of filling up, and the leads come out right now. Let's listen and see what happens. See, I think that's brilliant. And that pad that you hear is actually coming from the electric guitar. That was a phenomenally brilliant build, Robbie, and that was a phenomenally dynamic drop. I mean, nicely done, and good mix too. 3 musicians. Okay, this can bring me on to something else. Listen to these pads coming in. That's the guitar.
Until the Son of God appear, rejoice, rejoice.
So sometimes, you think, and this just proves it, this was a drummer, 1 electric, 1 acoustic, that's it. No pads, no nothing. And I believe they might have been playing a click, maybe not. I don't even know if they had a click on in that song. But the thing about this is that what you just heard was literally just 3 musicians, and such a dynamic build, such a dynamic drop, such a great, when you have a guitar player like Tommy, somebody who's versed with the ethereal sounds and lead, he can play all that stuff, he can kind of add those in, and so when you have 3 good musicians, you don't need 6, you don't need 9. I mean, you can actually create a lot of music. When I look back into rock days, you look back at all the rock bands, the old guys, and even there's like 2 or 3 guys. There's 3 guys: the drummer, bass player, guitar player, and that's it. And they sound amazing. They sound just fantastic. So you don't need millions of musicians. You don't need tons of stuff. You've got to be able to break it down in a mix to actually sound good with the basics. And that's what we're going to talk about in my weekend webinar. Make sure you go ahead and register for that if you're into this kind of stuff. You want to see the mix. I'm going to go deep into this. Friday night, 9 o'clock, Saturday morning, 9 a.m., and there will be replays. So if you can't even attend them live, register anyway. Go to worshipbandbuilder.com Wednesday webinar. It's right here, okay? It's in the description. But you can all get all that. Let's go into Logic. I'm going to go ahead. This will be a little bit longer video because I'm going to drop into Logic right now. So we're going to go into Logic and we're going to listen to some of this stuff, breaking it down. And we're going to do more of this in my webinar. Today, this is just my time to listen back and think about it. I'm inviting you in to kind of do that with me. So I'm not going to get into a ton of instruction here, but I'm just going to be listening to my Logic mix and see what I think. What do I think about this? Let's listen to see what it sounds like. What does it sound like? Okay, so this is perfect because this is the now this could have been their rehearsal, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a fly down mix on this really quickly. I'm going to put this down into some mix and see what happens, and then I'm going to see if I can still see your comments. There we go. There we go. I don't need all this. What is all this? I don't need this. Let's get this closed. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So you got the acoustic and the drums. Let's put the drums in there. I know there's an electric. And then I know Robbie's singing, so we'll go ahead and put him in.
And be thyself our King of peace. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel has come. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel has come. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel has come. He has come.
So listen to this guitar. That's the guitar track right there. Hear that? All right, let's go back. That's the guitar track alone. And then he brings in that big swell out. Oh, that's pretty nice. That's nice, Tommy. I like it, man. I like it. Let's listen to that all in context. I'll listen to this together. Listen to this. Here it goes.
He has come. He has. Oh, come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel.
Really brilliant. I want to listen to the drums. Yeah, I don't know. It might be in mono. That's a good question. Guitar wide. I think the guitar. is in mono. Yeah, the guitar is in mono, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, it's in one channel. So we've just got one mic on him, and he's panned. He is panned over to the right. So I guess let me listen to it. But we'll pan it over to the middle. In the band setting, he's always we pan him over a bit. But let's see what it sounds like if I put him in the middle. Yeah, and some reason I slapped the electric over this side a bit usually, just in our mix. But you're right, it would make sense here in this scenario to have him like more center, so it's more washed out in the both speakers. Let's listen to the drums, man. This is Paul, and I think he brought his own snare this week. But I think we've got the drums dialed in pretty good. Yeah, you know what? Maybe. So that's pretty good. You know what? Maybe. Because I'm definitely hearing in stereo, but maybe I'll check into it. Maybe the stream does mono. Maybe this streams out mono, which is weird. But definitely, let me pan everything. I'll pan everything right, and we'll see what. Here's panned right. And here's my full mix panned left. I don't know. I'll listen to it back and see if it actually pans it. But I think this sounds pretty good. I haven't listened through my actual speakers. Let me pop those open. Yeah. You know, it's good because this Sennheiser mic that we put on, and I did some videos on this. I did some videos on this, and it really is crazy how good this mic sounds, how much good this mic sounds. Listen to the kick. Do we have a kick in mic? Yeah, we do. We can listen to a kick in mic and kick out mic. I'll just do this just for fun. This is the kick in mic. And we just really have, this kick in mic is just in there. I threw it in there for the in-ears. It wasn't anything. But it just sounds like, okay, right? Sounds okay. Listen to the kick out mic. Kick out mic. It's got more sub bass to it. It's got way more thump to it. It's just got a good sound to it, and we just kind of moved that mic around until we liked it, and it sounds good. So let's go on to a different song here because I know that we have a couple. I want to get into some more of the drums here. Okay, here's some. Listen to this. I like it. I like it already. Now, this is interesting because what Paul did here is he kind of messed. he kind of messed with me. I'll show you what he did. He turned the snare drum he turned the snare drum mic during rehearsal to pick up the hi-hat. That's why it sounds like this. This is not great. I mean, I know what he was doing, but it didn't work for the mix.
lift your voices, church.
Well, let me take that back. It did actually work what he was doing, but it's not what I want in the mix. I didn't want more hi-hat. So listen to this. Let's see, I'll go back.
This we know.
There we go. So that's actually a snare drum, fully mic'd. It still bleeds in the hi-hat. You hear that? It's still bleeding hi-hat, but it's popping, smacking. Listen to that. This is a part in the song you'd want to bring out the acoustic guitar, but the acoustic guitars muddy up the mix in general. So we usually run those low, unless it's a drop like this. This would be the only time.
Jesus' name will break every stronghold. Freedom is ours when we call His name. Jesus' name above every other. All hail the power of Jesus' name. All hail the power of Jesus' name. I will call upon the Lord, for He alone is strong enough to save. Rise, your shackles are no more.
Listen to this. Well, he's rocking that guitar part, yeah. And then the bass right there. So if you have the right guitar part, you can put this in here. Drums, bass, guitar, and listen how this would just rocking out and just with a vocal. The acoustic guitars are almost irrelevant in this higher mix. When you're talking about the rock band chorus mix, the acoustic guitars are very much, if you listen to this electric part and you listen to the drums and bass, you don't need the acoustic strummy strum. So it's where they get kind of buried. In my mix philosophy, in the mix, I kind of pull them down until they're needed, because they're not needed right here. Listen to this. Okay, so right here, the electric guitar player is kind of swelling out, so you might put an acoustic in here. See, he's there. So when you take the acoustics out here, it doesn't do much bad to the mix. Okay, it actually cleans the mix up, and you've got a lot going on. Hi-hat, all the rhythm going on. The acoustic guitar is sort of a rhythmic instrument. Let's listen right here and see what I'm talking about when I take the acoustics out. Now he switched to this thing. So if you had an acoustic in there too, it gets really muddy. So put the vocal. Let's listen to the acoustics together. Okay, so you know, this is where your mix philosophy and where you're just moving stuff a little bit, because when the acoustic guitar starts going chicka 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 chicka, and the electric guy's going chicka chicka chicka, and the hi-hat's going, See what I'm saying? All of that happens, and you're like, what of those things do I really want right now? And that's where, let me do the whole mix here so everybody's unsoloed, and I'll show you what I would do through that section, and I'll talk through it. And this will be a little bit more of what we'll get into in the webinar, probably a little bit more granular, but this overall sounds really good. The bass drum's doing some kind of hard hit thing where when he hits it too hard, it kind of overloads, I think. I'll have to check into that, but it's a little smacky every once in a while. So I took out the acoustic guitar. Now I'm going to bring the acoustic in here a little more because I like, you know, the it makes a lot of sense right here. You're going to want the acoustic back. Then you're going to feel when it's coming back, you're going to kind of pull it down. So we still got the electric guy going high. Full drop. So we don't need acoustic here, I don't think. He's not even playing it. And I don't think we need it much here. Because you've got this going on. And that's actually why I separate in my mix, at least in my head. I'll put that acoustic guitar over here, I'll put the electric guitar over here, I'll put the vocal in the middle. Then you got sort of a spread. You can kind of separate them a little bit. If they're doing too much of the same stuff, it's really hard to separate or even hear a difference. Okay, so that's another problem. So it's all about, this gets down to in producing the live stream mix. If you just turn the live stream mix up, like some of you guys do, just turn up the live stream mix and just walk away from it, then you know, you really don't know. If somebody starts singing a song, you don't really know if they're leading or whatever. So some of this might sound kind of basic to you guys if you've been mixing a while, but some of you guys who are newer at mixing, okay, so if there is a time when you know, we're gonna switch vocalist, which we do all the time, you have to be on there and you have to be thinking, who do I want coming out right now? Also, I'll get into this more, but when you get into harmonies and all of this, you're going to be listening to which harmony's right, which harmony feels like it's mixing, and that's the one you're going to bring in underneath the lead vocalist. If you have 3 harmonies, maybe they're not all going to be in there all the time, and that's a decision that you have to make for the live stream mix on the fly. You don't get a second chance, and you have to be really listening. Let me try to find the Christmas song here. Let's see if I can find it. Nope. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the one. I want to add a little more reverb to this vocal because this. I actually already did. And yeah, I'm not sure why the bass drum is doing that, but if we listen to this with not a lot of verb on it, then it sounds like this. And I can show you this because this is what happened in the live stream mix. Her verb was way down here like this. So she's kind of sitting on the mix. It sounds kind of dry. Now I'm going to pull in the reverb now. Watch
And
it.
everywhere I go, tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is Lord. While shepherds kept their watching, or silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Oh, tell it on the mountain, over the hills, and everywhere I go, tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is Lord. On the lonely manger.
Okay, so this was rehearsal too, just so you guys know. So my vocal cue or something, where they talk in the middle. That's not really the service. So that's what I saw in the live stream in the beginning of this video. It was like pretty soft. Okay, I mean, the vocals were loud and they were dry. Okay, same thing with this. Vocals were loud and dry, and then we put the reverb in there, and then it got a little mixed more in. And so this is reverb on my vocal. And you can just tell if I turn this off, it sounds pretty forward and right up in there, you know. But if you put a little reverb on it, it starts sounding more roomy, more natural. And I don't have a great reverb setting here. This is just something I might put on to make it sound a little weird. It would be annoying if we talked like this. But as you're singing, you really want space in the vocal. You don't want the reverb probably on your podcast. But if I were to grab a guitar and start singing, I would pop this reverb on real quick. That way it just gives a little bit of natural feeling to the singing voice. And that's how that goes. So if it's the same thing with Emily here on this vocal. If I turn her reverb off, you'll hear it immediately. Listen.
And everywhere I go, tell it on the mountain
Now let's put it on.
that Jesus Christ is Lord. While shepherds kept their watching, or silent flocks by night.
Now, there's actually a moment where it was obnoxious. I turned it up a little bit too much. It's like, whoa, that's reverb. So what you're looking for in reverb mix is a natural moment where it's like, it just starts to feel natural, like it's the room, but you don't hear it. If you can hear a bunch of reverb on a vocal, then it's too much reverb. If you can hear a dry vocal, then it's not enough. There's a moment in that fade, and when I was turning that up, where it like, oh, that's too much, that's gross. You have to be able to listen to that and go and put that in the right spot. Let's do it one more time. I'll do it again. So 0, gross, too much, gross, in the middle, perfect. Here's how I would feel that, and listen to it.
And everywhere
That's not enough.
tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ
That's too much.
is Lord. While shepherds kept their
So you can really hear that's too much. Let's bop it down a bit, and I'll show you where it becomes natural.
and everywhere I go, tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is Lord. While shepherds kept their watching, or silent flocks by night,
6.
behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills, and everywhere I go.
So there's a little more naturalness to that vocal, and it's in there. It's in the right spot. If it's not enough, it's not enough. If it's not enough, it's dry and harsh. If it's too much, it's weird. It sounds unnatural. And answering the question here from Ashish, is that how you say your name? Ashish, yes. In my template, there are tracks. I have 2 different templates, and I should probably put that out there to you guys to let you know that when I go into these templates here, I put a new one up last week. Okay, so let's see, downloads, free stuff like that, downloads. If you go to the downloads and if you go to the templates, Logic Mix Template Basic Spring Hill Model 1, if you go to this bottom one down here, Logic Template Mix December 2020 with audio samples, okay? And I should probably take this link right here and put it in the description of this other one so that they can actually see. If you want to get this one doesn't have any audio samples in it. Okay, so I'm going to edit this product out, and basically so you can actually see that you can get the Logic Mix template with audio samples. Okay, and I'm going to put that right in here. Do you want audio samples? And you can do that just there. And I'll probably have to do this after the video because it looks like it's kind of moving slow. All right. I will explain that you can actually get the audio samples, watch the videos here, Worship Band Builder Gear, Facebook Church. Okay, it's all in there. So basically, I will add. I do have a template, and it's in there. Here's the link, the one with the audio samples, and it is that you can actually listen to. Now I don't have this week. I may put this week up. I may start adding more, but it just there are a good set of audio samples and a video around that other template. So. If you'd like to join me in my webinar, make sure if you like the video, first of all, if you like the video, just go ahead and share this video on your Facebook feed, like the channel, subscribe to the channel. Those things help me immensely. So, and if you want to go ahead and get a couple templates, those help as well. You can donate any amount of money there. You can name your own price, $1, $2, whatever, $5. That's amazing. And then you can register for this webinar if you go to Worship Band Builder, this link right here. You can go to this webinar and you can build. I don't have a Pro Tools. Let's see how I'm doing this. Let's see. That is the template available. Let's see. I don't have a Pro Tools template. I don't even know if I have Pro Tools. I mean, I have a version of Pro Tools. I actually have a friend who has Pro Tools. Maybe he'll load it up for me and send it over to the website. But if you want to come to the now Livestream Mix webinar, register here, and then I'll keep going with more of this. Friday night, 9 p.m., Saturday morning, 9 a.m., both. If you register, you'll get a replay, so just register. It'll be, an hour or so of mix stuff, and you can ask questions, specific questions about each thing that I'm doing here. Now, I do keep it simple. I keep this stuff simple. All of this stuff that I'm doing now is fairly simple. There aren't a lot of plugins on here, just some EQ and gain. There aren't a lot of tricks. I'm not doing a lot of tricks. I've got a couple tricks that I do, that I've been doing, that makes sense to me. There's not a ton of silliness going on here, but really you're trying to get good program material in. So I may do that this week. I may go over and show some of the stuff about how we actually get the stuff into the X32 and over. Once you get a good signal, in other words, once you work on the mics on the drums, there are no drum replacement program here. This is not drum replacement. This is just a real drum set. Now, that's a real snare drum with a very simple reverb. That's what that is. The bass drum, it could be a little bit, we could probably EQ this bass drum a little better here on this feed. I want a little more smack in that bass drum, but we'll work on that. That's not drum replacement program. That is really a drum set, and that's kind of what we are going for, or what I'm going for in this production. Is that smackiness of that is the one thing I'm not sure why that's doing. Every time he hits it, maybe it's clipping the compressor on the X32. That I'm not sure. So I'm going to work that out. But that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. There was a drum. Okay, there was an actual drum. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I will show you in my webinar more specific stuff. But it's not anything that we got. You don't have to get all crazy with stuff. You just have to get really good input of your instruments, and then you can do that. Now, somebody up in the comments wanted me to listen to your mix. Let's see here. Was this? Okay, this was from SoundCloud. So I will go on to this mix here in a moment, and then I'm going to end this video. I'll come back and do a mix. I'll listen to this guy's stuff here, Peter's stuff. Check out some of his mix, and maybe we'll do that in a totally different video. So Peter, so I can actually listen to his stuff, and I'll do it live right now. So I'll come back in about 10 minutes, And God bless you guys. Thanks for watching the video today and being a part of the channel. Please share the channel. That is extremely important, and subscribe. God bless you guys. See you in the next video.